Hello, my name is Holden Clarkson. I'm a senior studying advertising. I'm here with
Lily Franklin. I'm a junior studying journalism.
Maddie House. I am a senior studying electronic media.
And Mason Lusk. I'm a junior studying sports broadcasting.
And we are four Texas State students talking all things Texas State sports here at Bobcat Bulletin. Today we are going to be discussing Texas State's new hirings in football, the upcoming softball season, last week's basketball games, as well as the tennis games. So to start off with, I believe we'll go off with the Dexter McCoyle senior hiring for defensive coordinator, promoted from the safeties coach. I think it's a very good hiring personally. Our safeties were awesome last year. Sean Holton finished third in the country with forced fumbles, and Caleb Culp finished first in the country in fumble recoveries.
And it's always good. Dexter McCoyle, he has a lot of professional experience. He played for the Chargers, Niners, and the NFL. Bringing that to college is always good. So it's always good to get someone like that. And he played actually at Tulsa, so getting someone on board like that's helpful for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no. It's always good to have NFL experience on your roster, especially in pulling in recruits.
Certainly.
We also had Chad Morris, who is a Texas High School Football Hall of Famer, is the new wide receivers coach and passing game coordinator.
Yes, he is, yeah. And fun fact about him, he coached for Lake Travis in 2008-2009, leading them to what I believe was 2 straight undefeated seasons and state champions.
Yeah, he's kind of been at a lot of highly acclaimed schools. He's coached at Tulsa before, coached at SMU, Arkansas, Auburn, and he's bounced all around in terms of Texas State football. He's kind of a legend when it comes to that stuff.
And he has over 30 years of coaching experience as well, so I think, this could be good for us.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to wide receivers, him having coached at Clemson and while he was there, producing talent such as Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins, who have we seen the way they produced in the NFL. The fact that we got him and what he can bring in terms of recruiting, we could have some elite level receivers come next year.
Yeah, for sure. Just to play under someone like that. He's 180 and 41 high school record, so seeing something like that, I mean, just a winner, bringing him on board.
Yeah. No, it seems our coach is looking for winners, and he's looking to bring in a culture of winning, which is something we haven't had here in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's something that's really exciting, especially for new up-and-coming Texas State students, to be able to see that Texas State's really starting to take football seriously.
Yeah.
For sure. He also said that Chad Morris is also a mentor of his, and he is a proven winner, so.
And I think it's also, we noticed at the end of last season with winning our bowl game, like just how fun it can be to be a quote good football school. Like, we're gonna get there, sure. But yeah.
It might just take time.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun.
Rebuild, it's a process.
A lot of fun. Yeah. And then moving on to softball, the upcoming softball season, we had 2 softball players from Texas State win some preseason awards. We had Jessica Mullins, who was named the 2024 Sun Belt Preseason Pitcher of the Year, and Sarah Vanderford was named preseason All Sun Belt as well. Jessica Mullins last year was named All Sun Belt First Team. She actually won it for the 3rd straight year, and also the NFCA All South Third Team. She finished the 2023 season with a 22-12 record, a 1.88 ERA, and 176 strikeouts with 17 complete games and 4 shutouts.
What a stat line.
I know, yeah. Like crazy. Sarah Vanderford, she's a 5th-year senior from Pasadena. She started all 61 games for the Bobcats last year, and she hit .317 in 180 plate appearances, which is also crazy. She's the 3rd baseman. She had 16 doubles, 7 home runs, and then team best RBI. She had 39 RBIs. She entered the 2023 season with a .330 batting average. and first in career doubles with 53 and 29 home runs. And then also 139 career RBIs.
Oh wow, no,
Like-
she is crazy.
Like
Superstar.
that's
That is a superstar right there.
yeah. So that's really really exciting for the Bobcats coming up in this season to have. I mean,
Oh yeah.
those are just two of the big names on the softball team. They just got recognized, but yeah, it's making me really really excited about what's to come for softball.
Oh yeah. We better see people turning up to the softball games this year. It sounds like we have a crazy team.
Yeah, especially when you have a pitcher like Jessica Mullins.
Oh yeah, an ace is essential in
Yes.
winning out here.
What was it? You said 1.89 ERA, right?
188.
1.88. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
She's certainly good.
176 strikeouts. Oh geez, yeah, that's crazy.
And how many games you said?
17 complete games, and she had 4 shutouts.
Oh, 4 shutouts.
Yeah. And that was just last year.
Yeah, I can see why she was named the preseason pitcher of the year.
I know, yeah.
It seems like she's almost a shoo-in. I'm not trying to jinx her or anything, but
Yeah.
when you have a stat line like that the year before, I mean, I would assume you could only approve on that.
Yeah. It's only up from there, right?
Yeah, and this is also the 3rd year that a Bobcat has earned an individual preseason honor from the Sun Bowl.
Oh, cool.
Mullins actually won the 2023 preseason pitcher of the year.
Oh, really?
Well deserved. She's a great pitcher. And then Vanderford won the 2022 preseason player of the year award.
Ooh, I know we made a tournament bid last year. I don't think we went too far. I could be wrong, but
Not that I know of. I don't believe.
it sounds like there is something to look forward to in Texas State softball this year.
Yeah, Texas State softball, the season begins on Thursday, February 8th with the Texas State tournament. They're starting with a doubleheader against UTSA and then Northwestern. And then they're going to move into Kennesaw State the next day, and then they're going to be playing another doubleheader versus Southern Illinois and Creighton?
Creighton?
Yeah. And then their last game will be against Southern Illinois again on February 11th. So, very excited for this season. And
I'm going to be at that
the...
Kershaw State game.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all turn up. Whoever's
Yeah.
listening.
Very excited to see what the Bobcats can do with this offseason.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I'm very excited.
Yeah, and then tennis last week beat Sam Houston 4-3. I think they had a pretty good show out. I think their main part was the singles. That's how they did. They did real well in their singles game against Sam Houston and pulled out the win.
Sweet.
And I believe that's back-to-back wins, right, for the tennis team?
Yes, they beat. No, they didn't. They lost UTSA last week.
Did they? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I thought they beat UTSA. No, they lost, unfortunately. But it's good to have a win for this week and
Yeah.
for another win. I have it on February 10th against Oral Roberts.
Oral
We
Roberts.
can hope for another.
It's a San Antonio score right there.
I didn't know that,
Cool.
but yeah. And then we also last week, men's basketball, they played Southern Miss and they won. They beat them 60-55. Their what's it called?
Say it again?
Like their wins and losses.
The record?
Record. Okay, sorry, I fully forgot.
No, you're good.
The record is now 9-14 on the season and 3-8 for the conference. We had a few pretty big superstars for the game. If you want to read that part.
So we had Brandon Love had his 4th double-double, 15 points and 14 rebounds. And Jordan Mason had 14 points and went 4-4 on the free-throw line. And Devin Sykes had 12 points and went 6 of 12. So it was a pretty good game, and this was the first time winning ever against Golden Eagles.
That's always good
Wow.
to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe things looking up
I
for
didn't know
us.
that.
I don't know that either.
But watching that game, I have to say, Brandon Love is a dog. He's a very good player. They got to feed him in the post more. He's got good footwork. He's physical. He's great on the offense. He's great on the offensive boards. He's great on the defensive boards. He's really, in my opinion, our best player.
Yeah. He definitely dominated the first 20 minutes. Yeah.
And shout out also to Davion Sykes for the 74-66 South Alabama win on Thursday. He put up an 18-point double-double. Always great to see Texas State boys getting some double-doubles. They're much needed. Rebounding is essential to winning basketball games, especially in college. And to see our guys going out there and getting these double-doubles is a big deal.
Yeah, and I mean, not to undermine, Brandon Love still played well in that game too. He had 10 points, 6 rebounds. Not the double-double, but he still played
No, it's still
very well.
You know, everything adds to the win.
Yeah, of course.
And it was even also more impressive because the Southern Miss has a 12-11 record, and Texas State had 9-14. So for them to beat a team that has quite a bit better record, I feel is also
for sure.
Coming back conference wins.
Yeah, which is really good for Texas State. So, and then the women's basketball team, we talk about the Old Dominion game first.
Rough game.
Was it? Go ahead.
It looked like we had them. Had played a great first half. I think we should let it slip away in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. I can't say for certain how much we got outscored by, but it was definitely over 10 points.
Yeah.
And that's just not going to do it. You got to close out.
Definitely.
19 points.
Yeah.
Oof. That is rough. We just got to close out, you know. Too many teams play great in the first half, come out poor in the second half, and that's just not going to win you a game. Mm-hmm. No one plays a perfect first half that, you know, if you play a bad second half, doesn't matter. You know, the second half is always going to matter more. It's always going to be where you get your wins. And to get outscored by 19 points in the fourth quarter
that's tough.
It's tough.
We had an 11-point lead at halftime.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And blew it. And Old Dominion's having a pretty good year too. They're 15-5 from that win on. And it just sucks to see that because, you know, we almost pulled it out.
Yeah.
We probably should have.
And that would have been a good win on the record.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You know, I think I don't know if it's safe to say that Texas State has been, the men's team has been eliminated from
March
Madness.
I would assume so.
With I think, -6 record. I think they're 9-15 now.
Yeah.
That's most likely not going to get you a tournament bid. But that being said, you know, they go far in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, which they have struggled in the past to get far in. We could see a bid if they win that tournament.
Yeah.
We could.
It's time to start winning now.
Yeah.
If that's the goal.
Yeah, 2 in a row, you know, get on a little streak.
Yeah.
Start feeling good about yourself. You go in that Sun Belt tournament with nothing to lose. You come out with a victory. We could be watching Texas State basketball come spring break.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great?
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
That'd be so fun. I think, again, we would see just, like, how fun it is to have all of the students and alumni at your school to be behind a team similar to how we saw in football this past season. I think it'd be fun to start seeing all the other sports also do that, just because it's so fun to watch.
Yeah, and there's always all these Cinderella runs, whether it be, I'm trying to think of some old runs. They'll come to me.
Like the Peacocks, I can't remember their school name. The team that they won like 4 straight underdog games.
Yeah, it was the guy with the mustache.
Yes.
I'm blanking on it, but
that's pretty recent too. How can we not do that?
But that was awesome, and it's like, you know, 15 seed, and Texas State could get in there like a 13 or 14,
we could be that
15 seed.
Yeah.
We could be that, and that would be. I mean, this school would go crazy if we could get one tournament win.
Yeah, and I even think that if we just get there, I think the school will go crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Even if we get there and get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, no, it's true.
We got there. I think
and that would be the expectations for us to get destroyed if we got there.
Right, so then it would be even more fun to watch them win.
Yeah.
Because, the school.
It's St. Peter's.
St. Peter's, that's right. I know Oral Roberts, who I did say was Oklahoma. I mean, I said San Antonio earlier. I looked it up. It was actually Tulsa. I want to point that out. That was wrong.
That's okay.
Before. Because I was thinking of Incarnate Word.
Oh, okay.
I remember Oral Roberts, I believe, also had a tournament.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And so it would be so cool, and especially since the not last year, but the 2 years before that, it felt like we had really strong teams, and then we just failed to capitalize in the Sun Belt tournament. That's really all you need to do to get a tournament bid, and you're winning these smaller conferences.
Yeah.
Because obviously the big conferences are always going to get 5 to 6 teams in there, maybe 4, but still, we're not going to get that in the Sun Belt.
No, yeah, of course not.
And
It's fun to just see one from the Sun Belt.
it is.
Just to
and
have
you
a
get one.
representation and stuff.
That's true.
But I want to see it be Texas State.
Definitely.
Same with the women's too. Women's who have a better shot, have a better record.
Yeah, they're 11-2 on the season, and then 2 not as good, 2 for 9 in conference, but 2 and 9. Sorry. They also sadly fell to Southern Alabama,
But then it was a lot closer with Southern Alabama. So it was 65-64 score. So yeah, definitely a lot closer than their last game. So maybe things are looking a bit better for them.
Yeah, no, a 1-point loss is definitely better. There was also a comeback in that game, which is, it seemed like we had a stronger second half than we did in the Old Dominion game, which is always a good sight to see.
There's a few people to note. Morgan Hill had 12 points and 9 rebounds in that game. Jalen Foster had 11 rebounds, which was actually a career high for her. And Tiffany Tullis had 13 points.
and her 13 points, Tiffany Tullis, was a tie for her career high. So she didn't quite beat it, but she tied for.
And there's nothing wrong with tying your career high.
No, it's still impressive.
There was definitely still some highlights from that game, which is, definitely better than that game against Old Dominion.
Yeah. So as we run out of current things to talk about in terms of the Texas State wrap up, I'm going to pose a question to y'all. What are your expectations for the Texas State 2024 football season with the hirings we have, with coming off the bowl game we had last week or last year, winning it? What are our expectations?
Yeah, so I am very, very optimistic for the 2024 football season. Going into last year, I know I was like super, super excited about having TJ Finley and about also having GJ Kinney, and just, hoping it would do good, and like how we ended that with a winning of our bowl game. I think that us even getting to the bowl game, us being able to go was already a big deal, and then going on and winning it is only going to help Texas State as a whole and help Texas State football as a program. I think I'm, like I said, very optimistic for this season. I'm really, really excited. I think a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Texas State football, and I think that the games, which are historically pretty empty, are going to start filling up a lot more. We already saw that a little bit last season when we played Troy last season. We had, I think it was the second highest attendance that we've ever had in that stadium since it's been built, with like 28,000 people, which is kind of a lot for Texas State, because we were expected to be bowl eligible for that game. Unfortunately, we lost that one, but the next week we did become bowl eligible, and the attendance just never went back down. Like, it just stayed high, and then even at the bowl game, like, we were heavily more of the crowd than Rice was. We took up, over half the stadium. Like, there was more people at the bowl game than it was at SMU in Dallas, and we had more people there than SMU did for their entire season. For our bowl game, there was more people there.
That is a crazy stat.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild. Yeah. It was also just so cool to see, like, I know I keep talking about school spirit, but it's so fun whenever you have, like, I'm in the band and, like, when we're on the field and we're playing, like, the fight song, we're playing Deep in the Heart, and, like, they say, like, Texas State or something, and, like, you can hear everybody saying it and singing all this stuff. It's so fun, and I honestly think that's really what helps some of the athletes do better, just because they know they have a lot of supporters behind them and a lot of people rooting.
Definitely. I think like the change from the beginning of last year to now, definitely we kind of went into the season and everyone was quite pessimistic about the games, and well, I mean, we hadn't been doing too well up until that point, but I think now that it just seems to have totally done like a 360. Everyone's so excited. There were so many people each of the games, and I feel like definitely the school spirit thing. It's crazy to see how much it's kind of changed since the beginning of the year. So I feel like we can only be getting better from here. I feel like next year is looking pretty good for us.
Yeah, and just speaking off of what y'all said, I've grown up in San Antonio, so I've had family that has attended Southwest Texas State, and for a while they were kind of the, I guess, joke of like the nearby schools in terms of football. And like Maddie was saying, I feel like the culture has just been revitalized here. It seems like that really does play a big part into it, because going into the season last year, no one really had these expectations. I mean, we had all these people coming in the transfer portal, but nothing is really certain until it's proven. Mm-hmm. And we proved it. I mean, we won a bowl game. We made our first bowl game appearance in school FBS history. We won it. Obviously, I think the loss of Finley will hurt, but I'm hoping we can find someone to kind of fit in that shoe of a position and keep the offense going and scoring consistently like they were, because, I mean, what did we put up on Jackson State? It was like 70-something points.
Something like that. It was wild.
I mean, they're an explosive team, certainly, and I don't want to get like a little too optimistic, but I hope that they could at least make another bowl game. That's what I'm hoping for.
I think that's a fair thing to ask for.
I think we need that optimism, to be honest.
Yeah.
When it was so fun to watch those high-scoring games, like you said, it's like some of those scores are looking like basketball games.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, no, 70 points is ridiculous.
It's so crazy. I think, that game, when we did score 70 points, was the most points that, it was pretty early in the season, but we had scored the most out of any football team in college football had in the season.
Yeah, that's
like
unbelievable.
Yeah, which is like
Texas State.
Yeah, Texas State did, because that was an insane game. So fun.
I remember it was my sophomore season. No, my sophomore year, sorry. Or maybe, no, it was my sophomore year, and I was watching Brady McBride behind under center at quarterback, and the dude was good. But I remember it was a game against Incarnate Word, and we were just going back and forth and lost that game. And I lost a little faith in the Texas State team. I didn't go to a game all of my junior year. And then this year, I was not optimistic. I wasn't excited.
Yeah, you just didn't have any expectations.
I just didn't have expectations. Yeah. And then we started winning. And I'm so frustrated that my senior year we started to pull this out. And it's exciting, but I'm like, now, as I'm about to leave, I look at the team, I'm like, only can go up from here.
Yeah.
Like, they're making all the right hirings. Dexter McCoyle is a great hire. Chad Morris is a great hire. These two guys we talked about earlier are great for the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Dexter McCoyle has the guys already behind him. I think they're excited for him to be the defensive coordinator, which is always a plus. It's always so super important to have your players respect and admire your defensive and offensive coordinator as well as your coach. But GJ McKinney GJ Kinney has already proven that he has their respect.
Yeah, I think he won that last year.
Yeah, I think he did. And Chad Morris obviously has a lot of prestige in the sport, has a lot of insight, has a lot of knowledge about what clicks on the offense. Super excited for both those hires. I really do think that a bowl game is very much in the possibility. I think winning the Sun Belt is a very huge possibility.
I think a bowl game should be the expectation, and anything more we celebrate.
And
win the Sun Belt, that'd be amazing.
That would be incredible.
It'd be so fun.
And then who knows where we go from there? Like, obviously, I don't want to wish us to leave the Sun Belt, but the way our program's growing, really, who knows? You're seeing all these teams leave the Big 12. If Texas State, with the size that we're getting to, we're up to like over 50K plus, I believe.
We're close.
And I think we have plans to become one of the biggest schools in the state. Over UT, over A&M. The way we're building it, that's how it feels.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's new dorms popping up all
Oh
over the place.
yeah. There's that dorm. I don't know where it is, but it's huge.
It's gonna house like 1,200 people.
1,200 is crazy.
Yeah,
we're
just gonna help bringing in new freshman classes because each year it grows more and more, which also again helps with all of.
The culture.
It like helps with all of the athletics and helps with everything. So it's really exciting to see.
Oh yeah, and with these new hirings, I think it also helps with TV deals. Is that you have established coaching that people are excited about. You bring in the recruits, that brings in TV deals, and all of a sudden, Texas State games are getting aired. There's rankings. I mean, I'm not saying next year we're going to be a ranked team, but we could. With the right schedule, we get a ranked team. We get a 15-10 team that, maybe we win that game. All of a sudden, Texas State's ranked 23, ranked 22. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated. If they do, that's
you still got a couple big wins. There.
Well, we already saw last year. All Texas State games are aired on ESPN Plus. But last year, for one of our football games, unfortunately, we lost this game. But it was bumped from ESPN Plus to ESPNU. I think I said ESPN Plus the first time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
So to ESPNU, which is actually aired on TV, ESPN Plus, you have to have a subscription to it. So that was already a big deal.
That's a huge deal.
That we even got bumped to that spot because normally that's saved for the bigger schools, the more important quote schools.
When you're talking about that turn up, like the amount of people turn up to these games, the NCAA sees that. They see the teams that. They're like, oh, this is a team that we're trying to get help with a TV deal. Right?
Yeah, and we can only hope that for the rest of Texas State sports, the ones that are coming up this semester with basketball going on already, with softball, baseball, and all that kind of stuff, like to keep those attendance numbers up, just to help our team more.
Yeah, and some of those games were electric, with the crowd. It's like
so
it's
you can feel it. You can feel just like the atmosphere.
It's something I never expected when I came here that we would have, and it's awesome.
You're up north, that's where the football's at,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, not down here.
Well, and it's also crazy coming from Texas. Like Texas high school football is a crazy thing. It's a very competitive place.
Oh yeah.
And then to come to Texas State, which is not as much as a competitive school,
especially compared to like UT.
Yeah, and then us to be. I don't know, it's kind of fun. It's a little funny that it's like flipped, like up north, like the football school, like college football is more a bigger deal kind of up, not so much in Texas except for, the few big schools. Big schools we have. But
sorry, when I said up north, I meant Austin and UT.
But even those are just two, like, UT and A&M, those are like the two biggest.
Yeah.
And I guess Baylor is really cool.
I think Tech had Patrick Mahomes, and we got to give him some love.
Yeah, but I don't know, I'm excited for Texas State football.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of like the upcoming semester, we have a few games that are coming up this week. On February 5th, which is today, the women's golf are going to be playing today. February 7th, we have women's basketball against Coastal Carolina, and we have men's basketball. That's going to be at Coastal Carolina, and then we have men's basketball against App State at home.
Okay.
And then February 8th, we have a softball doubleheader, UTSA at 2, and then Northwestern at 4:15. And that's part of the Texas State tournament.
Opening day, baby.
Yeah. February 9th, we have track and field versus Jarvis Scott Open. That's going to be at Texas Tech, I believe. And then we also have softball versus Kennesaw State. February 10th, we have a few games going on. We have women's basketball, we have women's tennis at Oral Roberts, we have softball versus Southern Illinois, softball versus Creighton, and then also a men's basketball game, which those are still up in the air, but those are on the schedule. And then we have February 11th, softball again against Southern Illinois, and then we have tennis versus Tarleton State.
Sweet. All right.
Yeah, we're very excited for
Yeah.
what's to come this week. Hope for a bunch of Texas State wins with all these games happening. Hopefully with the softball tournament, like Texas State can show up and show out.
Yeah, show what all this preseason hype's about.
Yeah, definitely.
And for all those Texas State fans out there, excited for the new week because there's a lot of sports we're giving you.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I think that's going to wrap it up. Just to recap, we talked about Texas State's new hirings in football. We talked about the new softball season and the excitement around it. Last week's basketball games, as well as the tennis games. And then we talked about just our expectations and excitement about the new Texas State season for football coming up in 2024. We know it's far away, but the new hirings got us all excited. So I think that'll about do it. Again, I am Holden Clarkson.
I'm Lily Franklin.
I'm Maddie House.
Now, Mason Lusk.
And this is Bobcat Bulletin.